This lake looks really nice actually. It's very quiet. Lots of snags, which could be interesting.
There's a lot happening in the world, but nothing quite like this. From a turtle that looks more like a heap of leaves than your typical turtle, to an anaconda that breaks every record scientists ever imagined, something mysterious is unfolding in the Amazon.
An eel this size can deliver a shock of 650 volts. That's enough to stop my heart in seconds.
In today's video, we'll break down everything we know so far about the terrifying creatures found in the Amazon. So stay tuned. 1. Gigantic new snake species discovered in Amazon rainforest. It's one thing to stumble across a snake in your backyard, but quite another to find a new species of giant anaconda in the depths of the Amazon rainforest. This isn't just any snake. We're talking about what could be one of the largest snakes on the planet. A spirited team from the University of Queensland had the adventure of a lifetime when they journeyed deep into the Ecuadorian Amazon, thanks to an invite from the local Warani people. These folks weren't only spinning tales. They had seen some seriously oversized anacondas with their own eyes. Led by the enthusiastic biologist Professor Brian Fry, the team's 10-day expedition took them into the wild heart of the Baihuari Waorani territory. As they navigated through the lush, dense jungle, the team had several encounters with these massive creatures lurking in the shallow waters. Imagine coming face to face with a female anaconda stretching a whopping 6.3 meters. That's over 20 feet long. This giant slithering wonder was a random find and a star in National Geographic's upcoming series, Pole to Pole with Will Smith. But hold on to your hats, because the locals whispered about even bigger snakes. Some anacondas, they said, could reach up to 7.5 meters, that's nearly 25 feet, and tip the scales at a jaw-dropping 500 kilograms, around 100 pounds. To put that into perspective, the heaviest anaconda ever recorded tipped the scales at 227 kilograms and stretched over 27 feet long, according to the UK's Natural History Museum. And while the reticulated python might snag the title for length, the green anaconda takes the cake for weight. Diving deeper into the science, genetic studies have uncovered that the northern green anaconda branched off from its southern relatives around 10 million years ago. With a genetic difference of 5.5%, these snakes aren't just big, they're also genetically unique. Consider that humans and chimpanzees have a mere 2% difference. Amidst their groundbreaking research, the team is also turning a critical eye towards the health of the Amazon itself. The majestic green anaconda, a true heavyweight of the animal kingdom, might just serve as a key indicator of the ecosystem's overall health. Yet the challenges are mounting. Deforestation, climate change, and other human-induced pressures threaten this vital habitat. Professor Fry pointed out a chilling forecast. Up to 40% of the Amazon's forests could vanish by 2050 if current trends continue. But as awe-inspiring as the massive green anacondas of the Amazon may be, there's another side to the Amazon basin that's just as captivating and perhaps even more mysterious: the vampire fish. 2. The vampire fish. Exploring the depths of the Amazon basin isn't exactly your everyday adventure. But in 2005, a team of brave scientists and divers decided to do just that, turning what could have been just another scientific expedition into an extraordinary escapade. Teaming up with the BBC and the University of São Paulo, this globe-trotting squad set off to probe the enigmatic waters of the Araguaia River for the documentary Amazon Abyss. Their mission? To peel back the layers of mystery in one of the river's deepest, darkest parts. Some sections plummet over 300 feet deep. As if straight out of a science fiction novel, during their dive, they stumbled upon something rather sensational, a new species of parasitic fish that was quickly dubbed the vampire fish. Now, before your imagination runs too wild, let me paint you a picture of this tiny terror. Only about 25 millimeters long and almost as clear as glass, this little critter has a penchant for the macabre, sneaking into the gills of much larger fish to sip their blood. Yep, it's the piscine version of a vampire, but thankfully, it's interested in fish, not humans. The discovery wasn't just a one-off. This expedition was the first to film these hidden stretches of the Amazon, uncovering not only our blood-sucking buddy, but also a wood-eating catfish and another fish that bizarrely spends quite a bit of time on land. These findings were a jackpot for biodiversity, shining a spotlight on some of Amazon's most secretive residents and the urgent need to shield these fragile ecosystems. In a fun twist, the BBC opened up the floor to the public to help name this new species. The choices, Paracanthropoma vampira and Paracanthropoma nosferatu, both nod to its blood-feeding antics. But when you think you've uncovered all of the Amazon's eerie surprises, there's one creature that might be even better at keeping itself hidden. 3. The Mata-Mata turtle. The Mata-Mata turtle, nature's master of disguise. This quirky creature from the Amazon basin is a living testament to evolution's craftiness. We're talking about a turtle that looks more like a heap of leaves and bark floating in the water. Yes, that's the Mata-Mata for you, blending in so well that even the keenest eyes might miss it. The year was 2005, when Jean-Michel Cousteau, along with his adventurous offspring, Fabien and Céline, set off on the return to the Amazon expedition, which later graced the screens of PBS viewers. During their dive into the murky waters of the Amazon River, they stumbled upon this extraordinary turtle. The encounter was nothing short of cinematic. There they were, face to face with a creature that seemed like it jumped right out of a fantasy book, yet it was as real as the water they were swimming in. Jean-Michel, ever the charismatic explorer, couldn't help but crack a joke about the turtle's bizarre looks. He mused that the Mata-Mata might have thought the humans were the odd ones. This moment highlighted how incredible and surreal nature can be, bridging a gap between human perception and wildlife reality. What's even more fascinating is how the Mata-Mata hunts. It's a stealthy operator, lying motionless like a submerged log, only to spring a surprise on unsuspecting fish. With a sudden gulp, it creates a vacuum, sucking in the fish trapped in its path. This unique suction-feeding technique makes the Mata-Mata a formidable presence in its home's slow-moving, silt-laden waters. The Mata-Mata is a true Amazonian, thriving in blackwater streams, stagnant pools, and swamps across northern South America, including Brazil, Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela. These habitats, as tranquil as they are treacherous for the uninitiated, have been the turtle's home for millennia, shaping its evolution into the perfect aquatic ambush predator. But while the Mata-Mata is a master of hiding in plain sight, the Amazon has another resident that's impossible to miss, especially when it starts leaping out of the water. 4. Arapaima. Arapaima, these giants that can grow up to 10 feet long and tip the scales at hundreds of pounds, are the newest names on the invasive species block in the Sunshine State. A few years back, one of these colossal creatures made an unexpected debut, washing up dead at J.C. Park along the Caloosahatchee River in Cape Coral. Talk about a surprise guest. Native to the mighty Amazon River, the Arapaima isn't just big, it's armored. Literally, these fish are decked out with armor-like scales that could give any medieval knight a run for his money. They're also phenomenal leapers. Captain Josh Constantine, a local fishing guide, notes that they can jump right out of the water like Florida's beloved tarpon, snatching up everything from small mammals and lizards to birds and fish in a single gulp. It's an impressive sight, but let's just say it's less thrilling when it's happening right in your backyard. Now, the presence of such an apex predator is stirring up more than just the waters. Arapaimas could pose a serious threat to the local ecosystem. They're not picky eaters, and their ability to churn out hundreds of thousands of eggs means they could potentially dominate local wildlife populations. Thankfully, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, FWC, assures us there's no evidence yet that these river monsters are reproducing in Florida waters. Their tropical blood does have one weakness though: cold sensitivity, which might keep them confined to the warmer waters of southeast Florida. Dr. Catherine Galloway, a renowned expert on invasive species, casts a wary eye on the situation. She suggests that finding one arapaima could mean there are more lurking unseen. It's a concern that echoes the problems Florida has faced with other invasive species like lionfish, which have already taken a toll on local marine life, and by extension, the economy, by preying on commercially important fish. The FWC is on high alert, urging anyone who spots, or dare we say, hooks an arapaima to report it via their exotic species hotline. The protocol? These fish should be humanely euthanized and definitely not thrown back like a lucky penny. As for how this particular arapaima ended up making its dramatic entrance, theories abound. Perhaps an overly ambitious pet owner got cold feet. Or maybe there's a more deliberate reason behind its appearance. While we're left wondering whether these river monsters will make a permanent home in the Sunshine State halfway around the globe, another Amazonian marvel, the giant electric eel, is making waves. Only this time, it's not its size, but its voltage that steals the spotlight. 5. Giant electric eel. Back in 2019, deep in the heart of the Amazon basin, a thrilling discovery zapped its way into the annals of scientific milestones. Dr. David DeSantana, from the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, led an adventurous team that might as well have been on a treasure hunt, only instead of gold, they were after something even more electrifying. Amid the lush, sprawling wilderness of the Brazilian Amazon's Rio Tapajós and Javari River regions, they uncovered not one, but two new species of giant electric eels. One of these slippery characters, named Electrophorus voltae, can unleash a stunning 860 volts of electricity. That's not just shocking, it shatters the previous record of about 650 volts. Navigating over 2,000 miles of some of the most challenging waters where their boat was more often stuck than not, due to low water levels, the expedition was anything but a leisurely river cruise. Yet, despite these obstacles, DeSantana and his crew kept their eyes on the prize. Their persistence paid off over an intense 18-day period, during which they collected more than 15,000 specimens, representing over 450 species. Among these were the powerhouse E. voltae and its newly identified cousin, E. vari. The stakes were high, and so were the volts. The team even had a first-hand encounter with their subjects' shocking capabilities when one unsuspecting member got a jolt from a concealed eel. It was a hair-raising moment that left him shaking, but unscathed, a real-world demonstration of just how formidable these creatures are. But this story isn't merely about the thrill of discovery or the perils of fieldwork. Using tissue samples from these electrifying finds, the scientists contributed to a growing digital genetic library. This tool is a game changer. making it possible to identify fish species through mere DNA traces left in water. This could revolutionize our understanding of biodiversity in these underexplored regions. And while electric eels like E. volti may be shocking in their power, they aren't the only creatures lurking in the Amazon's depths, capable of leaving a lasting impression. 6. The Amazonian giant leech. There's another marvel waiting to make its mark, a creature that could easily be mistaken for something out of a science fiction movie. The Amazonian giant leech, Hemipteria gilliani. And yes, it's as big as it sounds, up to 18 inches of squirming, blood-sucking marvel. This gigantic leech first caught the attention of the world back in 1849, thanks to the keen eyes of Italian scientist Vittore Gilliani. But after its grand debut, it pulled a disappearing act so convincing it was thought to be extinct. Fast forward to the 1970s, and cue Dr. Roy Sawyer, our intrepid explorer, who stumbled upon not one but two of these elusive giants hiding out in a remote pond in French Guiana. One of these leeches, affectionately nicknamed Grandma Moses, turned out to be quite the celebrity. She wasn't any leech, she was a supermom who took a trip to UC Berkeley and went on to have over 750 babies. That's right, from presumed extinction to a family tree bustling with hundreds of little leeches, proving that sometimes life finds a way. Now, what makes these leeches more than just a creepy crawler is their dining etiquette. They don't only bite, they use a needle-like proboscis to inject their host with a numbing agent and anticoagulants, making their meal a painless affair for their host. This isn't just cool, it's medical gold. The enzymes in their saliva, particularly one called hemantine, are like nature's own blood thinners, sparking interest for potential breakthroughs in treating blood clots. Found slinking around in the swampy freshwater wetlands from Brazil to French Guiana, these leeches aren't just surviving, they're thriving and teaching us a thing or two. 7. Moray eels are straight out of Alien. You know those terrifying creatures from the Alien movies with the double jaws? Well, it turns out nature has its own version, the moray eel. In a revelation that might make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, researchers Rita Mater and Peter Wainwright have discovered that moray eels sport an incredible, ballistic second set of jaws called pharyngeal jaws. These jaws lurk hidden in the eel's throat, springing into action in a flash. Here's how it goes down. When the eel's main jaws clamp down on a fish, these secondary jaws leap forward, snagging the prey with backward-pointing teeth to pull it down into the eel's throat. This feeding technique is not just unusual, it's unique. Morays are the only backboned animals that dine like this. While most fish rely on a method called suction feeding, moray eels can't manage that in their cramped, rocky homes. So, evolution has equipped them with these powerful jaw muscles and fascinating teeth that hold onto their dinner no matter what. And when those pharyngeal jaws kick in, the prey doesn't stand a chance. It's kind of like how a snake eats if you think about it. Moray eels have long, slender bodies, and they need a way to keep a firm grip on their food. These special jaws do just that, ensuring that once they've got their meal, they never let go. This adaptation is probably a big reason why moray eels are so successful as predators, ruling over coral reefs and boasting around 200 different species. But if you think moray eels are fierce, wait until you hear about the big black piranha. 8. The big black piranha. For a minute, consider this. You're trekking through the heart of the Amazon basin, surrounded by the dense, echoing expanse of nature, when you stumble upon one of the most awe-inspiring yet fearsome creatures of the water world, the big black piranha, also intriguingly known as the red-eye piranha. This isn't just any fish story, it's a tale of rediscovery that left even seasoned scientists buzzing with excitement. The year was filled with anticipation as a team led by the intrepid adventurer and wildlife expert Kevin Casey ventured into the less trodden waters of the Rewa River in Guyana. Their mission? To peel back the layers of mystery surrounding the biodiversity of these secluded Amazonian channels. What they didn't expect was to come face to face with the Amazon's most formidable predator. Measuring a striking 24 inches, 61 cm, and sporting sleek, dark gray to black scales that shimmer with a hint of menace, the big black piranha is no ordinary fish. It's a spectacle of evolution, with those signature striking red eyes that seem to pierce through the murky waters. The team encountered several of these giants, some over a foot long, showcasing their solitary and aggressive nature. This species is not just known for its intimidating appearance. It has a bite to match. With a biting force that's off the charts relative to their size, they have one of the strongest jaws among all carnivorous fish, living or extinct. Imagine teeth so sharp and perfectly interlocking, designed for maximum efficiency. It's a marvel of nature's design. During this pivotal expedition, the researchers observed more than just the piranha's predatory prowess. They noted intriguing behaviors like territorialism, as these fish fiercely defended their nesting areas tucked within submerged vegetation. These behaviors perhaps shed light on their evolutionary success in such a competitive environment. Adding another layer to this aquatic enigma, genetic analyses conducted by the team unveiled a complex tapestry of species variation. But just when you think the mysteries of aquatic life can't get more astonishing, Mother Nature has another surprise up her sleeve: giant crayfish. 9. Giant crayfish. Back in January 2011, researchers stumbled upon a whopper of a find in the waters of Shoal Creek, a serene tributary of the Tennessee River. Imagine spending decades studying every nook and cranny of a water system, thinking you know it like the back of your hand, only to discover that you've been sharing the space with a gigantic crayfish, nearly twice the size of its creek mates, and you had no clue. That's exactly what happened to aquatic biologist Christopher A. Taylor from the University of Illinois and Gwenter A. Schuster from Eastern Kentucky University during what they thought was just another routine expedition in the Tennessee River system. On that crisp day, tucked away under a rock in the shallow creek waters, Taylor and Schuster found not just any crayfish, but a new species that would come to be known as Barbicamberus simonsi. Named after Jeffrey Simmons, a scientist from the Tennessee Valley Authority who played a key role in its discovery, this new species wasn't just another crayfish. No, it measured a show-stopping 9 inches long. But as remarkable as a 9-inch crayfish hiding in plain sight might be, it pales in comparison to what lurks in the wild rivers of the Amazon basin. 10. The Black Caiman. Meet the black caiman, the king of the river, and undoubtedly one of the most impressive creatures you'll find in the wet and wild stretches of the Amazon basin. This isn't just any ordinary critter. We're talking about the largest member of the alligator family, reaching lengths of up to 5 meters. That's a whopping 16 feet of pure muscle and might. These apex predators are not just big, they come with an attitude to match, sporting dark, brooding skin and jaws that can snap shut with terrifying power. Imagine cruising through the rivers, lakes, and wetlands of Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, and other lush parts of the Amazon and spotting one of these dark giants just doing its thing. Now, the black caiman's tail is as old as the time the first explorers pushed their boats through the murky waters of the Amazon. Back in the day, think 18th and 19th centuries, intrepid adventurers stumbled upon these massive crocs. It was a game changer in the world of wildlife discovery. But it wasn't until much later, particularly around the mid-1900s, that scientists really got a grip on what makes these creatures tick, thanks to dedicated conservationists and biologists who were hell-bent on saving them from a grim fate. You see, back in the 1950s and 60s, everyone wanted a piece of these giants. Black caiman skins were the height of fashion, leading to a hunting spree that nearly wiped these majestic creatures off the map. But cue the conservation heroes. With hunting bans clamped down and their habitats given protected status, the black caimans started to make a comeback. Today, these caimans are more than just survivors. They're a cornerstone of the Amazon ecosystem. They help keep everything in check, from fish populations to birds, and even those adorable capybaras. But while the black caiman commands attention with its sheer size and dominance, there's also the poisonous frog in the Amazon that often goes unnoticed. 11. Poisonous frog species discovered in Peru. In the steamy summer of 2013, in the heart of the Manu Biosphere Reserve, Shirley Jennifer Serrano Rojas, armed with nothing but her sharp ears and recording equipment, decided to take a walk in the Peruvian Amazon. As a senior field scientist for the Crees Foundation, Shirley was no stranger to the jungle's chorus. But that day, amid the symphony of nature, a peculiar croak caught her attention. Just as she pivoted to trace the sound, it vanished like a whisper in the wind. Intrigued and undeterred, Shirley knew she was onto something. Back at base camp, the plot thickened. Andrew Whitworth, her advisor, listened to Shirley's recording. The verdict: she might have just discovered a new species. Fired up by this possibility, Shirley returned to the site, her determination as dense as the rainforest canopy. And there finally, she managed to catch the elusive croaker, an enigmatic black poison frog adorned with two striking orange stripes. The frog wasn't only a new friend, but a new species altogether. Dubbed Amirega shihuemoi, this vibrant creature officially made its scientific debut in the January 2023 issue of Zootaxa. The discovery was a splash in the scientific community, not just for its novelty, but for what it represented. Now let's talk poison frogs for a second. These aren't your average hoppy pals. Known for their lethal skin toxins, these frogs have historically helped indigenous peoples in hunting endeavors. But there's more to them than their deadly coats. Take, for instance, their family dynamics. Evolutionary biologist Kyle Summers sheds light on this, explaining how male poison frogs aren't protectors but nurturers, meticulously caring for their offspring from eggs to tadpoles. The frog's neon wardrobe isn't just for show either. It's a stop sign to potential predators, signaling back off, toxic. But while their colors scream danger, their very existence whispers urgency. The buffer zone of the Manu Reserve, where Shirley's discovery took place, is a ticking time bomb of biodiversity loss, threatened by encroaching human activities. The Manu Biosphere Reserve itself is a fortress of flora and fauna, shielded from the clutches of commercial exploitation. Yet the areas that kiss its borders are not as fortunate. Shirley's black and orange discovery, Amirega shihuemoi, is already on the endangered list. Conservationists are racing against time to draft plans to save this new species, and many others are likely still hidden beneath the leafy shadows. 12. The Goliath tigerfish. Now moving on, imagine landing a role in a real-life adventure film, not in Hollywood, but deep in the heart of Africa, where the legendary Goliath tigerfish rules the waters. This isn't just any fish story. It's about the beast of the Congo River Basin. Yes, the Goliath tigerfish, a true freshwater titan that's both feared and revered. Now, this fish isn't just big, it's gigantic. We're talking about a creature that grows up to 5 feet long and tips the scales at over 100 pounds. It's the kind of fish that makes even seasoned anglers double-check their gear. And those teeth? They're like something out of a horror movie, interlocking and razor-sharp, growing up to 2 inches long. But don't get it twisted. Despite some tall tales, you won't find this aquatic behemoth in the Amazon. Its home turf is strictly within the Congo Basin and its surrounding African waters. This fish has a reputation that precedes it, known for its jaw-dropping speed and precision, which makes it a formidable predator. It uses the calmer waters near rapids as its hunting ground, ambushing prey with a strategy that's both cunning and brutal. Enter Jeremy Wade, the intrepid host of River Monsters. In 2010, Wade took on the ultimate challenge by venturing into the depths of the Congo River. His target? None other than the demon fish, as the locals call it. Wade's journey was nothing short of epic, a true test of wills between man and nature. Navigating through one of the world's most remote regions, he faced the perils of an unpredictable river and an equally unpredictable adversary. After numerous close calls and heart-stopping moments, Wade's persistence paid off. He managed to reel in a massive Goliath tigerfish, an encounter that was as thrilling as it was terrifying. The battle was intense, showcasing the sheer power and aggression of this legendary fish. If this shocking footage of mysterious creatures in the Amazon has you on the edge of your seat, be sure to hit the like button so we can dive deeper into this baffling discovery together.